位记者朋友
Good afternoon. Welcome to today's press briefing. First of all, two announcements. At the invitation of Vice President Han Zheng, Vice President of Brazil will pay an official visit to China from June the 4th to the 8th. At the invitation of member of the Political Bureau of the CPC Central Committee and the Minister of Foreign Affairs, Wang Yi, Venezuela's Foreign Minister Yuan Hu will visit China from June the 4th to the 7th. Now the floor is open.
谢谢发言人。总台央视记者提问：上周中方已经公开表。
CCTV, the Chinese said publicly last week that it will not attend the summit on peace in Ukraine organized by Switzerland. Does it mean that China does not support Switzerland and Ukraine holding the summit? Some believe that not attending the summit means not supporting peace and standing on the side of Russia in opposition to Ukraine. What's your comment? China believes that all efforts that are conducive to the peaceful settlement of the crisis should be supported. We have attached great importance to Switzerland's organizing the summit on peace in Ukraine from the very beginning and have been in close communication with Switzerland, Ukraine, and other relevant parties on this. China has repeatedly stressed that the International Peace Conference needs to meet the three important elements, namely recognition from both Russia and Ukraine, equal participation of all parties, and fair discussion of all peace plans. As far as China is concerned, the meeting does not yet seem to meet the three elements, and that is exactly why China will not be able to take part in the meeting. Let me stress that China's position on the peace conference is fair and just. Our position does not target any party, and certainly not this particular summit. China's decision on participation is purely based on our assessment of the meeting itself, and we believe relevant parties can understand that position. Whether one supports peace or not should not be judged by a particular country or on the basis of a particular meeting. China sincerely hopes that the peace conference will not turn into a platform used to create bloc confrontation. Not attending it does not mean not supporting peace. For certain countries, even if they do participate, they do not necessarily wholeheartedly want the conflict to stop. What matters is what kind of action that is being taken, and what has happened shows that China has been most firmly and actively committed to promoting talks for peace. China has never sat idly by or fueled the flames, still has profiteered from the conflict. Instead, we have worked relentlessly for a peacefire, and this has been highly recommended by various parties, including Russia and Ukraine. Next one, please.
谢谢发言人。北京青年报记者提问：您刚刚发布了委内瑞拉外长希尔。
You just released information of Venezuela's state to China. How does China view its current relations with Venezuela, and what's the program of the visit? China and Venezuela are always strategic partners. Last September, Venezuelan President Nicolas Maduro paid a successful state visit to China. Under the strategic guidance of President Xi Jinping and President Nicolas Maduro, bilateral relations have entered a new historical period. This year marks the 50th anniversary of China-Venezuela diplomatic ties. We welcome Foreign Minister Ivan Pinto to visit China and attend the event celebrating the anniversary. We hope and believe the visit will be a good opportunity to continue to implement the important common understandings reached between the two presidents, carry forward our traditional friendship, and provide sustained driving force for our all-weather strategic partnership.
新华社记者提问：发言人刚刚发布了巴西副总统阿尔克明访。
You just released Brazilian president visits to China. Can you have more information on that? During the official visit of Brazil's Vice President Geraldo Alckmin to China, Vice President Han Zheng will have talks with him, and the two vice presidents will co-chair the 7th meeting of the China-Brazil High-Level Coordination and Cooperation Committee. The two countries are both major developing countries and important emerging markets, and each other's comprehensive strategic partners. This year marks the 50th anniversary of China-Brazil diplomatic ties and the 20th anniversary of the establishment of the High-Level Coordination and Cooperation Committee. China hopes that this visit will help further consolidate political mutual trust, strategic cooperation, and deepen practical cooperation in various fields between the two sides for the steady and sustained growth of the bilateral relations.
Public broadcast.
上周就在台湾领导人就职典礼之后，中方在台岛附周边进行了军演。从台湾问题到南海问题，一直到演习问题，中方是否认识到
Chinese marine vessels, for instance, also monitored that ship.
中方的军机一直在台岛上空盘旋。Could you repeat your question, please? Are you referring to? I clearly heard your first part of from the Netherlands.
我还是建议你向中方的主管部门了解。
I'd refer you to competent authorities. I like to say that China always respect the freedom and right to navigation of all countries, but we oppose any country to violate China's sovereignty and security in the name of that. And we hope that countries outside the region could do things that are conducive to the peace and security and do not make provocations and stir up troubles in this region. On the South China Sea navigation, I'd like to say that there is no any problem in this regard. The next question, please.
谢谢发言人。中新社记者提问：近日，美国国务院发言人
China News Service, the U.S. State Department spokesperson, announced new visa restrictions on officials of the central government and the Hong Kong SAR government in a statement released last week on the verdict issued by the Hong Kong court on some involved in the case of conspiring to commit subversion. What's China's comment? The U.S. has deliberately attacked the principle of one country, two systems, smeared the law on safeguarding national security in Hong Kong SAR, irresponsibly commented on democracy and freedoms in Hong Kong, sought to meddle with Hong Kong SAR's judicial measures, and abused the visa restrictions. Such moves blatantly interfere in China's internal affairs, violate international law and basic norms in international relations. China strongly deplores and opposes it. Let me be clear that the so-called primary election organized by those involved in the case who are anti-China sought to destabilize Hong Kong amounts to a serious challenge to the constitutional order in Hong Kong and endangers national security. Among the defendants involved, 31 have already pleaded guilty. It is reasonable and lawful for the law enforcement and judicial authorities in Hong Kong SAR to carry out their duties in accordance with the law and punish all acts that undermine national security. The central government firmly supports this. I would like to stress that Hong Kong affairs are purely China's domestic affairs that brooks no external interference. We urge the U.S. to earnestly respect China's sovereignty and rule of law in Hong Kong, abide by international law and basic norms in international relations, immediately stop supporting and speaking for anti-China voices. The U.S. should not in any way meddle with Hong Kong affairs. If the U.S. implements the visa restrictions, China will take firm countermeasures. Next one, please.
From the BBC.
BBC 记者，你能否更多介绍所谓的串联、串谋颠覆国家政权罪的案件？香港方面已经进行了公告，你能否更多介绍哪些人涉及了这些案件？什么人被认定是间谍？中国政府对于这一案件有什么样的回应？
我注意到中方有关部门已经详细的发布了。
I've noted that the competent authorities have released relevant information. I don't have much information to offer. Thank you. Next question, please.
谢谢发言人。东方卫视记者提问。那么我们关注到，在6月2号，美日韩。
On June 2nd, the U.S., Japan, ROK have held the trilateral defense ministers meetings, and they accused China of its unilateral attempts to change the status quo in the waters of the Indo-Pacific and reaffirm the importance of the peace and stability of the strait, and also opposes unlawful maritime claims. We also noted that on the May 31st, there is such relevant negative content. And also, Undersecretary of State Campbell expressed that he hopes China could exert influence on the DPRK. And do you have any comment? We've noted that the three countries, in the name of the trilateral defense ministers and relevant conversations, push through their so-called Indo-Pacific strategy and make irresponsible remarks and interfere in China's internal affairs. It has attacked and smeared China in the name of relevant issues. We have such positions. First, China strongly opposed manipulating bloc policy and also opposes any stirring up troubles and aggravating conflicts. And also we strongly oppose the exclusive blocs in Asia-Pacific, and the U.S. should keep its promise of do not seek to oppose China through strengthening alliance. Second, the One China principle is the universal consensus and the basic norms of international relations. The Taiwan issue is a purely matter of China's internal affairs and brook no external interference. The current greatest threat is Taiwan-dependent separatist actions and external forces connivance. If relevant countries care for its peace and stability, they should be committed to the One China principle and strongly oppose the Taiwan independent separatist forces. Third, China strongly safeguarded its own sovereignty, territorial integrity, and maritime rights and interests. And we stick to the principle that we will help solve the relevant issues through dialogue and consultation with stakeholders. However, the U.S. keeps inciting specific countries to make provocations on maritime matters to China and drive a wedge between different countries in the region and also make frequent military drill. Fourth, China's position in the Korean Peninsula is consistent. We urge relevant stakeholders to make prudential remarks and behaviors, and will based on the norms and reality, will make our efforts to solve relevant issues. Thank you.
谢谢。深圳卫视执新闻记者提问：昨天嫦娥6号在月球背面南极艾特克。
Yesterday, China's Chang'e 6 touched down in the South Pole Aitken Basin on the far side of the moon. This has attracted great attention from the international community. Head of the European Space Agency, Josef Aschbacher, commented that it is a wonderful accomplishment that ESA is thankful and proud to have a part in. What's your comment? On June 2nd, about 1 month after its launch on May 3rd, Chang'e 6 successfully landed at the designated landing area on the far side of the moon. It is collecting lunar soil and rock samples and conducting scientific exploration, which produces valuable videos and data. The mission also carries international payloads from the European Space Agency, France, Italy, and Pakistan for joint scientific exploration. This is a historic step in China's space exploration and, more importantly, a step of peaceful use of space in human history. Understanding and exploring the universe is humanity's shared aspiration, and the peaceful use of space will improve the well-being of all. We stand ready to follow the principles of equality, mutual benefit, peaceful use, and inclusive development to deepen international space exchanges and cooperation, share development fruits with other countries, and unravel the mysteries of the universe. We look forward to the safe return of Chang'e 6 probe with valuable lunar samples. Thank you.
下一个问题。
Next one, please.
Good afternoon, Bloomberg News.
彭博社，我想要追问一下关于乌克兰的问题。泽连斯基在新加坡的时候说，俄罗斯所做的事情有可能会利用中方的外交人员来干扰瑞士的和会，你对此有何评论？ In my previous answers, I just stated China's position on Switzerland holding the peace summits. We attaches great importance to Switzerland organizing the first summit on peace in Ukraine and has been in communication with Switzerland and relevant parties on this. We noted that Switzerland's foreign minister also stated their appreciation to China. In their statement, China's position is fair and legitimate. I think there's no problem in that we attach great importance to its relations with Ukraine. Since the conflict broke out, China has been in communication and cooperation with Ukraine. China remains the biggest trading partner for Ukraine, and our diplomatic missions are in operation normally in Ukraine. China's position is open and fair. We've repeatedly said that the peace conference needs to meet three important factors, and we hope that relevant parties can understand our position. Next one, please.
谢谢发言人。北京日报记者提问：5月29日，秘鲁国会以
The Peru Congress adopted a resolution to establish China-Peru Friendship Day. China and Peru are good partners of development. The Congress of Peru adopted this resolution to establish the Friendship Day with full vote. This also shows China-Peru friendship is deep into people's mind, and also show there is a wide popular basis for our future cooperation. We'd like to stand ready to work with Peru to deepen our strategic partnership and make it generate more fruits to benefit our peoples. Thank you.
下一个问题。
Next question, please.
Question for Anadolu Agency.
安纳多卢提问：泽伦斯基暗示中国的外交官正在对其他国家进行施压，要求他们不参加瑞士和会，这是你能否证实？中方的外交人员是否在向其他国家施压？ On the peace summit, China's position is fair and legitimate. We do not target any party, and we do not target the particular summit. Hegemonism is power politics. This is not what our foreign policy is for. There is no problem in transparency, and there is no things that China is pressuring other countries. Next one, please.
发言人您好，卡塔尔半岛电视
Al Jazeera, according to Iran's media, Iran's ambassador was called upon for China to protest against the statement on the three islands. What's your comment?
中方对于三岛问题的立场。
China's position on the three islands issue is consistent. We hope that the two sides could call on the parties to resolve differences in the peaceful way through dialogue and consultation. The joint statement between China and it is consistent with China's position on this issue. China-Iran relations are solid. We attach importance to China-Iran comprehensive strategic partnership.
Next one, please.
还有其他问题吗？
Any other question, please?
Yes. NOS again, the Dutch public.
荷兰电视台，明天将是1989年抗议活动35周年纪念日，中方对这一事件有什么回应？
对于上世纪80年代末发生。
For the political turbulence, we have already had settled on this. Next question, please.
I have two questions.
我有两个问题，第一个问题是。 5月14号的时候，汪文斌发言人说，所有对于中方的抹黑都是黑化中方，因为两个人被英方发现是间谍。中国政府 有没有这一间谍案件？中方能否证实
？What we oppose is make more obstacles to the bilateral relations in the name of so-called spy cases. On this case, I don't have more information to offer. Please refer to relevant authorities.
So
你说你有2个问题啊。
Yeah. So sorry.
我还想要追问一下，所以你说的是5月份英方发布的案件是没有根据的，而这一案件，现在的这一案件是有根据的，是吗？
到了5月份的。
The case you mentioned in May, my colleagues have introduced our position. The reality is very clear. The UK has arrested and prosecuted our civilian is a malicious accusation, and they have groundless arrest of Chinese nationals. And the case you mentioned today, I do not know the specifics, but I like to say that China is a country ruled by law. We have a reality basis for my introduction.
There was a Chinese.
第二个问题是中国小红书 APP 上有一个网红，他说在周末的时候，他在靖国神社的石碑上进行了污秽物的排泄，中方对外国人员有没有什么管控
I've noted relevant reports. I like to stress that Yasukuni Shrine is a militarist forces tool and a symbol of its invasion war. The Japanese side should keep to its promise to think about it and also to have more trust from its neighboring countries in Asia through concrete actions, and also like to stress that our Chinese people overseas should respect the local laws and regulations and express their concerns.
法新社根据中国的媒体报道，中方对于西伯利亚2号项目的天然气价格与俄方有不同的意见，中方和莫斯科之间有不同的意见，这是媒体的报道，您有何评论？
On the specifics of President Putin's visit to China, we have already had very detailed information on that you may refer to. On the cooperation between the two sides of the two countries, I like to say that we should find the convergence of our interests and bring benefits to each other. This is a common understanding of our two presidents. We like to carry through these important understandings and also deepen our cooperation in all areas. Thank you.
下一个问题。
Next question, please.
Al Jazeera, according to China's foreign ministry, Turkey's foreign minister is arriving at Beijing and starting his 3-day visit to China. What will be discussed between the two sides? Will the discussion involve Ukraine crisis and other international hotspots?
I believe that China and Turkey's foreign ministers will exchange views on questions of both concerned. We'll release relevant information. Please keep updated. Thank you.
下一个问题。
Next question, please.
Hi. Question from
路透社，我的问题关于泽连斯基总统的周末表态。报道称，泽连斯基总统说，俄罗斯所使用的武器中有一些元素是来自中方，中方对此有何评论？
强调过，首先中国。
First, China is not a part to and is not a generator of this crisis. We do not provide weapon to any parts, and this has been commended by the international community. Our normal trade is lawful and also inconsistent with the international trade rules and do not target any third party. And also noted that over 60% of the military import of the war comes from the Western countries, and President Zelensky also touched upon this.
下一个问题。
Next question, please.
还有其他问题吗？
Any question? Okay, this is the end of today's news conference. Thank you.